Welcome to Ric Drasin Live. I'm your host, Ric Drasin, and I'm back to talk about nutrition and fitness and all kinds of things that run around that way. And I always have good guests. And today I have a guest of mine who's co-hosted other shows with me. And she's a far cry from what you think she is, because she's absolutely beautiful. And she has a long history in something that I'm going to bring up, not right now, because you're going to say, oh, no, she can't do that. But she does do that. So I'm welcome Angelina Altition,
yes, hey.
Also known as G.L.O.W Little Egypt from Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And that's a far cry from what she looks like, because wrestlers don't normally look like that. But I'm really happy that you're here, because we've hosted some stuff and we've had great times together.
Yeah.
And you have beat the aging process. You have beat it.
Well, I've been on a quest, actually.
Yes, actually I brought a Quest bar to eat, and that kind of helped me too. But you grew up, you said, the Jersey?
Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl. My dad's from Jersey.
Yeah.
And so even though my dad was in the military, so we traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Jersey is where my heart is. That's where my family is. That's where all my cousins are. So
you go home a lot?
I do try and get there at least once every 5 years, because our family is so large that I try and get there every 5 years, and we have a family reunion.
Well, you told me that growing up your life was kind of boring. You know, sometimes everybody has to start at point one, where it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but then things change as you go on. And so, like when you were in high school and in college, and what was your goals at that point? What did you want to do? Because we're going to take this turn in a minute.
Oh my gosh! So when I was growing up, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. I just knew that school was really hard for me.
Yeah.
I had ADD, and there wasn't a lot of learning programs to assist me in trying to get me through like higher education. So when I graduated high school, my mom moved our family to Turkey, and I spent some time there where I kind of delved into like the cuisine of Turkey, and then the culture there. I started kind of picking up those gifts. You know. Is
it a lot different than here?
Oh, totally different. It's completely different. Turkey as a culture, the people are just, you know, they're very giving and open, and it's not unusual for a complete stranger to be invited into someone's house for dinner and made as a welcome guest, and they're people of tolerance, and I love them.
How would the food, if you were there today and you were trying to watch your nutrition and eat a certain way, how would that food fall into what you eat?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because the Mediterranean diet is largely based on vegetables, and there's not a lot of fried foods. When they eat meat, it's a small portion of meat, like lamb or chicken or fish, accompanied by a smorgasbord of different vegetables and beans. Some are hot, some are cold. They're served out, and we call them meze style, where they actually come out in little portions, and so you get to nibble from different plates, and at the end of the meal, you're full and you feel great, because your digestion wasn't, you know, in shock trying to process saturated fats. And so that really worked well.
If that's nibbling, I'd be nibbling around the meat dish, because I like to eat a lot of meat to get my protein, you know.
Yeah.
So now you came to, after there, you came to Los Angeles, California?
No, actually, when I came back from Turkey, I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I grew up.
You went directly there?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you were living there when you began your career, is what we're going to mention in a second.
Yeah.
You got into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Geez, why would anybody want to be a wrestler in this world? I mean, guys.
Oh, are you kidding? It's so exciting.
Yes,
and you did it too. So, So yeah, I had a weird opportunity. There was a show getting filmed at the Rivera Hotel called G.L.O.W, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and it was 1986. And that show went on for 4 years. I was one of the original G.L.O.W girls, and I got to be part of that cast. And then out of nowhere, the show was canceled. 20 years later, they did a documentary about our show, and it's called G.L.O.W, the story of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
I'm in the documentary.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Now, when they cast for that, and you were living in Vegas, of course, how did you find out? Did you see it in the paper? Did someone tell you about it? And your mind must have thought, girl wrestling, I think I can do that. Or you think, I can't do that. How do you figure that out?
Okay, so the majority of the cast from the original season was actually a huge casting call here from LA.
Okay.
And then as the first season was winding down, the girls were starting to get injured. And that was an ongoing problem in our show. And so basically the word went out, if you found anyone that looked interesting, you know, send them over to David McLean and see if they would be interested in auditioning for the show. So I, at this point, 19 years old, I'm just a little girl folding T-shirts in a T-shirt shop at the Boulevard Mall, and in comes Mount Fiji. This charismatic 350-pound piece of love,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
so charismatic. And she told me I should go down and audition, and I was completely against it. I thought, there's no way I could do this. You're huge. You know, I'm not you. So how can I do what you do? And then she told me that her tag team partner, Little Fiji, was my size, and that I should go down and audition. And I did. And 2 weeks later, I was in my first match, and that's unheard of, as you know, in the industry.
Of course, it takes a long time to train for that.
Yeah, it does.
How did you pick the name Little Egypt?
It was something that Matt Simber and Steve Blantz, the lead writer, they were
Steve.
thinking, Oh, you know Steve?
Yeah, very well.
Oh, cool. Well, they kind of had this vision in their head of like, let's try and fit someone, you know, let's find someone to fit this Egyptian profile, because Little Egypt at one point was a very famous belly dancer from the 1800s.
Sure.
And they, you know, nothing really came through, and then they saw me in training, and Steve told Matt, we've got our Little Egypt, and that was the character that they presented to me.
There was a song back in the 60s called Little Egypt.
The Elvis Presley one?
No, there's another one by a
Oh.
group, and I can't think of their name, but it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
And we did a show. I was in a band back then. We had this really fat guy come out and do a little Egypt dance with a jewel in his belly button, but it was like pretty funny. In your training, was this all new to you, this type of stuff?
Actually, it was, because here I am. I'm 19 years old. It's not like we had classes in high school on wrestling, well, collegiate style, but nothing other than that. And I was just basically doing aerobics to get by. And that's all I had as far as athletic experience. So it came as quite a shock. But once you take those bumps, and you know this, once you start taking those bumps, you fall in love with wrestling, and then you get bit by that bug.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then I just wanted to learn more and more. I wanted to start perfecting my art. What's interesting about the Little Egypt evolution is that you can actually see her in her training evolve. You can see, like, from very basic bumps to more, you know, more difficult bumps towards
Let's
the end of my
explain
career.
what bumps are. People may not know. It's not a hump in the road.
Oh.
But it's learning how to fall. Bumping means you have to fall on your back, you have to spread your arms, you have to hit the mat, tuck your chin, and protect yourself when you hit. And when you learn the art of bumping, you can go through the air and flip and bump. It doesn't even hurt anymore.
Right.
It just becomes fun.
Right.
And the ring is not a trampoline. It's a heavy-duty steel piece of equipment with a mat and boards, and has a little give. And so if you don't bump properly, you get hurt.
Yep, that's true. And that's what happened. It happened to me, happened to a lot of girls.
Yeah, I'm sure. What did you want to continue wrestling after that? After the thing expanded, or did you?
Well, actually, I got hurt at the end of the second season. So for me, I tore my ACL, and that was the end of my athletic career. And as you know, you need those ligaments.
Did you have it fixed?
I didn't, and I kind of am glad I didn't at that time, because surgery at that level, wasn't as precise as it is now. So I didn't, but I ended up just strengthening the muscles around my knees to try and give myself that
I agree with
skeletal. Do you really?
Yes, I do. I need a knee replacement now, but I do extra leg extensions and work out just to strengthen those tendons so they feel strong and support me.
Yeah.
How did Billy Corgan and Smashing Pumpkins play this role? Because I know you're friends with him.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it was 2008. I heard a song called "G.L.O.W," and Billy Corgan had just released a song called "G.L.O.W," G.L.O.W, which is those were our letters, and it was a shout out to the G.L.O. girls. And if you look at the video, the music video that went with the song, you can see it was like wrestling based, and it was kind of campy and fun with the girls. And so I just reached out to him to thank him on Twitter, and we just connected through that. I brought him into the fold. I introduced him to the G.L.O. girls, and then he cut the commentary reel on the G.L.O. DVD. So if you get G.L.O., the story of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, if you get that DVD, you'll hear on the bonus features, you'll hear Billy talking to me, Hollywood, and Matilda about the missing components of the DVD. If you had any back questions on David McLean, or if you wanted to know more about Matt Simber, it's all spelled out for you on that bonus reel.
The DVD, the documentary is excellent.
Thank you.
It's really, really done well. And
Thank you.
it just tells the story. And with Mount Fiji and the whole thing, I mean, it's really heartwarming.
Well, it's a story of sisterhood and coming together.
Yeah.
You know, when our show ended, we didn't have any notice. It just ended.
Just stopped, yeah.
Yeah, it just stopped. We thought we were coming back for season 5, and there were no calls, and there were no calls. And so, because there was no social media, we barely keep in touch with each other. We only refer to each other in our character name, so it was really difficult to try and find each other. So it was a 2.5-year journey. I ended up co-producing the G.L.O.W documentary, and it took me about 2.5 years to find the girls that you see on that documentary. And I loved that the documentary guys didn't rush the process, because what you did see is like this authentic unveiling of this sisterhood and this camaraderie that we have, and it has gone on to win several film festival awards. It is streaming.
I remember when they shot, because they shot some of it at my house. They did an interview with me as well, and I didn't know how they were going to put this thing together, but after I saw it, I realized this is really a work of art.
Thank you.
How does nutrition and exercise figure into what you're doing or what you did or what you're doing now as far as that goes? I mean, because you look like you're still 20 years old.
Well, okay, so I actually I love skincare and wellness. That's my passion, and I always feel like I'm on a quest to try and find like the newest and greatest like discoveries in skincare and wellness. But basically, in a nutshell, it's just trying to eat as clean as possible. You know, try and avoid those GMOs, those genetically modified foods that are so cheap and easy for us to get. The wheat that we bought, the wheat that we would eat when we were growing up, like 20 years ago, is so far from the wheat that we are buying at the store now. It's actually 3 times the amount of gluten in the wheat that's sold today versus the wheat we grew up on.
I never heard about gluten growing up. I wasn't aware of it until maybe the past couple of years. Tell me more about the gluten.
Well, it's funny, I should know a lot about gluten because my husband was diagnosed as a celiac 15 years ago, and 15 years ago, no one even knew what the word was, and it was really difficult to eat out. Waitresses and waiters were like, gluten, they never even knew the words. Now you can get gluten-free menus. Now it's more it's more known in the public, but celiac is just this intolerance to process gluten.
And you can have it not even know what it is.
Yeah, it's dormant oftentimes, and then something as a result of stress or something like promotes the the intolerance. And so everyone reacts to it a little differently, but the important component is that your small villi in your intestines no longer absorb gluten, and it starts breaking down that villi. And then once that villi gets broken down, it can't absorb any other nutrients as well. So iron and any other things that are processing through your body, most celiacs are iron deficient, and they need to supplement a lot because of that. So unfortunately, it does happen, and now they're discovering in children that just avoiding gluten is probably a good thing because they do trace it back to to learning development.
I may be eating that way now, not even know it, because we always have things lying dormant in our system as well. And I just recently found out after having my physical that everything's fine with me, but I do have hair lying dormant in my head, and it's just not growing.
Can you promote anything to help that pop out?
I have no idea if it's a gluten problem or what. I eat a lot of gluten to keep my glutes tight, and so they're nice and round. But it hasn't affected me in any adverse way. So if you
went off gluten, do you think your hair would grow back?
No, but my butt would fall off. Most likely.
Oh, gosh.
I think, Vincent, do you have a picture of us hosting AfterBuzz? Because we had a good time on that show together.
Oh, gosh, that was so fun.
And I think you have it back there in the control booth. If you can flash that picture of there it is. That's a great shot of us, is it not?
I love it, yeah.
Is that not a great shot?
So fun. You were such a blast. Thank you so much for bringing me on your show. I loved it. I loved it. And I loved bringing the guests that were coming onto our show, and that it's on YouTube. So anyone looking to try and see those again can go on.
What
YouTube.
are your plans from this point on? You're going back into wrestling?
I have retired officially from wrestling.
Yeah, me too.
I have.
No more bumps.
Yeah, but I'm still very passionate about skincare and wellness, and so I do spend a lot of time looking into anti-aging and what's working.
Anti-aging is so huge. Everything is based on anti-aging nowadays, and I see magazine ads, and some of these products are really expensive. I saw one, I didn't tell you this, but I saw one that said the combination of vitamin C and hyaluronic acid was good for your skin. It was $165 for a bottle.
Yeah.
So I did some search on Amazon. I found the bottle of hyaluronic acid for $4.95 and the vitamin C for $6. So for $12, $13 in shipping, I had the two products, and I've been using them for a month on my face.
See a big difference?
I do see a difference.
Yeah. Well, vitamin C is a wonderful anti-aging element. And what scares me about like the FDA regulations here in the United States compared to like a European formulation,
right?
Like there are some high-end labels, let's just say,
yes,
that formulate in Europe as well as they do in the U.S., and their formulation's completely different. And one of the fillers that we use here in the U.S. that's not even acceptable in Europe is mineral oil. Now, mineral oil is a byproduct of petroleum or Vaseline. That's it. And it's actually cheaper to sell the byproduct of petroleum to a cosmetic company than it is to actually dispose of it. So that alone, there's 73 different code names for mineral oil.
You know what mineral oil is really for?
What?
It's a laxative.
Oh my God. Okay.
It is, seriously.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you need to have a bowel movement, just scoop like a tablespoon of Vaseline.
Just a teaspoon of mineral oil will keep your day moving right along.
My suggestion, olive oil, if you're going to go in that direction.
Can that work?
You know,
The same
I
thing?
would think,
Yeah,
I would think olive oil would help
I
you
was
just as
always
much
told
as a
mineral oil,
lubricant.
and I keep it right next to the toilet.
No,
so
please don't. Please don't.
It's there.
Oh my God.
All right, so if you were going to give a tip of the week to people about skincare, what would you tell them?
Okay, so just sunscreen is so important.
Isn't vitamin C itself the liquid of sunscreen?
No.
I heard that it was.
No. No. Well, are you
I'm
saying?
topical.
Oh, okay. So you're saying vitamin C is a natural sunscreen?
I read that the C that I bought, the liquid, if you put it on your face, it will actually block out some of the sun's rays.
Zinc is probably the best form of
Yeah.
sunscreen.
Yeah,
now, I'm not sure about vitamin C actually being like the #1 ingredient in
Okay.
sunscreen or not, but it's a great anti-aging element.
Yes.
And there are other if you're shopping in the store, my suggestion is, if it doesn't say free of mineral oil on the packaging, it probably has mineral oil in it, and just avoid it.
I'm
There's
throwing
good
mine out
products
today. I'm buying
get it.
olive oil and
No,
Popeye
don't put oil
and
on
sweet
your
pea.
face. Oh, no. But actually, it's unfortunate that in the U.S. we get away with so much in our packaging that
Yes, we
it's
do.
just, and our body absorbs, our skin absorbs what we put on it. So 80% of what we're putting on our skin gets absorbed into our liver.
That's very true. I know we did our tip and we're going to close, but there's a lot of medications that you apply to your skin and it's absorbed in the system.
Yes, it is.
And there's toxic things that you can get on your skin and they're absorbed in the system. Bacterial infections, I had one in my arm, picked it up off a bench in the gym possibly or somewhere. You got to be careful what goes on your skin.
Yes. You want to stay clean, definitely. Stay away from antibacterial soap. New studies are showing that that's not even effective
No,
anymore.
I use either Ajax or Tide. I get a really nice white body after I brush down with that.
Well, yeah, if you use the dry soap, it actually works as an exfoliant. Did you know that?
I knew that. That's why I look so good. I have one more picture before we close. I like
my
Vincent
God.
to flash on of my Barney the Bear, if you could, please. See right there? Now, that's my buddy Barney the Bear, and I have him on Rick's Corner. I have an assortment of these bears at home and gorillas, and BigPlush.com is doing a big special for Valentine's Day to buy your mate a bear like this with a t-shirt. Now, this one says my workout buddy. You could say I love bodybuilding, or to my sweetheart. They're wonderful bears. They're cuddly. I sleep with it. I put my head on his chest every night, and he holds me and rocks me to sleep at night.
Aww.
And they come in different colors and different sizes. That's BigPlush.com and BigPlush, P-L-U-S-H. If you want to get this bear, and tell them Rick sent you, they're running deals right now for Valentine's, and they're going out the door in cages and cages and cages. So take a look at that. Next week, I'm going to have him on here, sitting right here with me. We're going to do an interview about bear power. And sit here bare-balled or bare-balled or whatever. But thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This has been fun, and I've learned a lot. I'm going to go home and get a healthy skin, throw my mineral oil out, maybe switch it with 3-in-1 oil. I'm not quite sure. But stay tuned next week, same time, 12:30 for Ric Drasin Live, and we'll have on some other guests, and we'll have Barney the Bear with us as well. And stay tuned next now for Tough and Tender, where we talk about your relationships with your mate, with your family, with your school teachers, with your kids, with your next door neighbor, with your gardener, your mate, or whoever is in your life that's giving you some disruption. We'll straighten it out. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Ric Drasin. For tips on health and nutrition and fitness and bodybuilding and wrestling and all the stuff you want to know, subscribe to me on emPOWERme.tv. I'm on every Friday at 12:30 p.m. I'm looking forward to meeting you. And stay healthy.